Hi, Tony Kashawi here, and I've been given some questions on Messenger about Commedia, and I thought I'd make this video as a response. Hopefully other people might have the same kind of questions and they can watch my blog. So I've got a message from Remy, and they are studying at the Queensland Academy of Creative Industries, and they've got an assignment. So the questions are, how would you describe the physicality of Commedia in general? Are there solo exercises you've used to develop to get into physicality of the Commedia character? And what are they? Not asking much. If you are familiar with the Butoh style, what are the similarities and differences you found between the two styles? Well, yes, I can definitely answer those questions. So the first one was, describe the physicality. So the physicality, I guess, in a nutshell, is large, exaggerated, in your face. Now, the reason for this is because the masks, well, the masks are exaggerated cartoons of characters that we might know in our community, like this miserly old man, Pantalone. So if you have a look at this mask, you can see that the mask maker exaggerated all of the features, you know, putting a bit of a scowl on his face. When you put this mask on and you look in the mirror, you get to feel this person, and therefore it makes you work the mask, or the mask makes you work, in whichever way you want to look at it. I call it finding the spirit of the mask. The Italians say that a mask has a spirit within each one. And I kind of believe that, but it's mainly, it's about the inspiration that the mask maker made to make a good mask. Now, the reason why I say the large physicality of Commedia is that these are like cartoons, like caricatures of politicians, you could say, where they've got a bigger nose than normal and so on, and whatever the politician's features are, the cartoonist exaggerates them, and so therefore that applies to the Commedia masks. Now, if we put that on, our body has got to match the large features of what the mask is. So you could say that the mask demands the large movements and caricatures. And you know, if you just put on the mask and you walked around normally, just moving your arms and legs, it would just look like you're wearing a hat. It wouldn't, the mask would not come to life. And so therefore, you have to break your body down into like more of a zigzag shape, especially the low status ones. The high status ones have got different physicality, which I won't go into in this video. But let's have a look at some of the positions. I've got some photos here. So you can see that the actor here is got bent knees, bent back, bottom sticking out, and they're actually learning how to do a twist, a turn to the left or to the right. You can see here that here is the stylization of a run. So they exaggerate with the elbows going up and down, you know, like they're really exerting themselves to run, but they're actually running on the spot, sort of. And standing on a pole, like I do this because a lot of people say that Commedia is improvised. That's true, but you have to have balance and control. And so a lot of the training that I do is about, you know, keeping the character within the technique of the walks and the stance and the gesturing. Okay, let's come back to me. Sorry about that. Just a few images there of some actors working the technique. Now, the reason why it's called the technique, inverted commas, is that if all actors learn the technique, when they're improvising and one of the actors starts to walk with the feet very placed one after the other, or start stepping backwards, the other actor on stage can see this and they can copy because they know the technique. And so it looks like they're in unison, and the audience thinks, wow, these guys really know what they're doing. And it's only because they have practiced their technique and they have a movement palette to choose from. Okay, sorry, it's a bit of a rave there. Let's go on to the next question. Are there solo exercises you've used to develop to get into physicality? Yes, solo exercise. I much prefer working with an ensemble because Commedia is ensemble theatre. It's the first theatre that was created that didn't actually have a writer and a director. It was just the actors getting together and putting on a show. So I much prefer ensemble work. But if you are having to train by yourself, there are some exercises that I can show you. So let's jump to a desktop. I don't think I can. Okay, so here I'm going to give you this little clip. So here he is. There's been a few of these videos doing things on a travelator or an exercise machine like this. But have a look at what he's doing. It's fantastic. Imagine doing an exercise with your students where you tell them to walk angry, walk chimpanzees, walk sassy, etc. Imagine the whole group being asked to do this all at the same time, all wandering around the drama room, calling out these different types of walks. So when you start training them to do the Commedia walks, you actually throw them in. So instead of saying old man, say pantalone. Instead of saying, walk, creep along, just say, walk like a low status zanni, which you've previously trained them in, of course. Okay, so that's an exercise you can do by yourself. You can try different types of walks. And of course, the point there I made about walking like an old man is that there are techniques for getting into this character of pantalone. And one of the sort of images I like to give students when they're working with pantalone is that try and make him as though he's over 100 years old. In fact, he's so old, he's like 200 years old. And the only thing that's keeping him alive is the fact that he knows that he can't take his money with him. He's such a miser, so he refuses to die. And so I then ask the students to, come out as pantalone and just sit on a chair. And of course, just sitting, just trying to get down, the legs shake and, he can't lower it and he gets halfway down and then he stands up and checks to make sure the chair's still there. And then, so just making a lot of business out of just sitting down because you are so old. So that's a little personal lazzi that Pantalone could do, but it also gets the actor's mind into how frail he can be. Of course, if a younger woman comes along because he's a lech, he'll jump and click his heels because he feels like he is young again and can chase the girls. So there are many different aspects. I'm jumping all over the place here. But as a solo exercise, I would recommend trying different walks. And another little tip that I picked up from Marco Lully, who's also got some training available on my website, is that he broke down the high and low status, is that the low status are always flowing, round, circular movements, and the high status are very rectangular, very straight lines. And so if you can define the characters by separating them into those different categories, you're on your way. Last question is Butoh. Well, yes, I'm very familiar with Butoh. I used to share a space with a Butoh theatre company, and what we did is that they were there in the morning and I was doing Commedia in the afternoon. And it was like that we were yin and yang. I'll show you an image here. So Butoh is the inverted triangle you can see on the left there, figure 1. The base is very strong and the point is to the top. Whereas Commedia in figure 2 is the inverted triangle. I don't know which one's inverted now. So you can see that the Commedia character, the way they stance, is that they are balanced on one leg, and the triangle, the widest part of the body, is up the top. So the center of gravity is up near their chest, whereas the Butoh center of gravity is way down, bolted down to the ground. So the absolute opposites, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is that Commedia is light, balanced, and in control, and Butoh is grounded, solid, and earthy. I don't know whether that answers your questions, but that is that is the differences. There's not much similarity. Okay, so thank you very much, Remy, for asking those questions. I hope I've successfully answered them. Thank you. Anybody else out there, send me messages via Facebook Messenger or on YouTube and the Commedia dell'arte channel, and or my theatrepractitioners.online website. Ciao, ciao.